So it's almost 2024 and I wanted to make a video where you can reset and organize your life for the next year, which is always kind of hard in this time between like Christmas and New Year's, where you just don't really know what to do. So my idea was just that maybe if you have time, you can reset your life in just one day and just do all these things right now, or maybe in January, when you need a reset and a refresh of your life to actually get clear on your goals for the next year. So for the reset part of this video, I wanted to talk about things to let go of, because there are things that you might have been doing for the whole year, but you actually don't really want to continue doing them forever. And this is a time to reflect and to think about the things that you don't want to keep doing. If I were you, I would choose between 1 and 3 commitments, bad habits, or relationships that you might want to let go of, that you just don't think align with you anymore, which can be hard at times to figure out and to actually implement it. But I think it's a good thing to do by the end of the year, because if you want to add things to your life, you also have to take things away that might not serve you anymore, so that you just have more mental space and also more time to do the things that actually matter to you. Then a thing that is pretty obvious, I would say, is to declutter your space, but I would add that you don't only declutter your physical space but also your digital one. So go through your email inbox, go through those, I don't know how many 100 messages you have on there, go through them, delete the ones you don't need anymore. Same thing with notifications on your phone. Go through apps that you might not want to keep anymore, and through your chats, and just free up some space on your phone. Make it work a bit better. Maybe reorganize it, choose a new wallpaper, and reorganize your apps and all of that. Same thing goes for your computer. Reorganize your desktop, just kind of declutter everything and get rid of the things that you don't need anymore. Put things in folders. Get a clean space again. Get a new clean slate for the new year, so that you have a lot less clutter everywhere going on. And a clean space also equates to a clean and decluttered mind, so I would really try to do that, because it helps a lot more than you would think it does. Then the last thing that I want to add to this reset before we go into the organize and goal part of this video is to actually think about things that you're proud of that you did this year. It can be little things. It can be like waking up every morning on time and getting to work. It could be being glad that you spend time with your family this year. Just little things that you're actually proud of this year, that you accomplished, that you felt good doing. This is just to realize what you actually have done this year. It shouldn't be demotivating. It shouldn't make you think that you didn't do enough this year. It's really to just say the things that you're grateful for, basically. It's not just what you're proud of and what you accomplished, it's more so what you're grateful for that you experienced this year. So now we get into the planning and exciting part to think about your goals. So the first thing I would advise you to do is to figure out a planning system that works for you. Figure out how much time you have, write it down. I, for example, use Google Calendar. I time block my days. It just becomes clear of how much time you actually have to dedicate to new things that you want to try this year, and not feel guilty if you can't do everything, because sometimes we just expect way too much of ourselves, and maybe that's not even possible with the schedule that you have at the moment. So time block your days, figure out how much time you have on a day-to-day basis, how much time you have on a weekend, and then after that you can kind of get more into the goal part of the planning. So the first thing I would say is to ask yourself, how do I actually want to feel this year? What do I want to experience? What are the feelings that I want to get from my goals? What is going to make me feel this way? It could be multiple things. It doesn't just have to be one feeling that you want to have for this year, but I think that if you focus on how you want to feel, the goals can be a lot different, but you feel much more fulfilled by them. Even though you might not have a lot of time, you can still figure out what you want to feel like this year. You don't have to go through the year just feeling horrible about yourself, and you can just try to set goals that make you feel a certain way. So the next thing I would suggest you do is to set your priorities and figure out your core values. So here I would say that from all of the priorities and core values that you have, choose maximum 3 that you make your goals for this year and then stick to those, because having too many goals could be very detrimental to actually completing the most important ones, the ones that you actually care about most, because you just have too much going on. It doesn't mean that one goal can't have like multiple habits attached to it, but it's one goal. It's like one theme for the year, and even one is enough, but maximum 3 I would say. Like I said, habits are really important to actually getting to your goals. So you have to break down your goal. You first have your yearly goal, then you break that down into monthly goals. So what can you do on a month-to-month basis to get to the yearly goal that you set for yourself? Then you do that for the weekly basis, then the daily, and maybe even think about what you can do right now to get started on it. Even if it might not be the new year yet, you can always start now. It doesn't have to be January 1st to become a completely new person. You can figure out now what you want to do, and you can go towards where you want to now. It doesn't have to be a big thing that you do, but maybe if your goal is to be healthier, just get up and drink a glass of water. Like, it's really simple like that. For a few things you can have multiple goals, you just have to break them down, and the big goals should just be 3. The habits though can be a bit more extensive for each goal. I would recommend making most of the goals daily routines rather than weekly ones, just because it's easier to keep going if you're doing it every day rather than weekly. But feel free to set weekly goals too, which you may just do like once or twice a week if that works better for you. One thing that is really important though is that you don't do everything at once. You don't start on January 1st and basically implement every single habit that you have on that list that you're making right now. That's not the way to go, because you're gonna do that for maybe 1 or 2 weeks and then you're gonna be done and you don't want to do it anymore because it's way too hard doing it like that. If you actually want long-lasting results with sticking to your goals, you have to start slow. From the habits that you chose, you have to prioritize and choose which one you want to start with. You maybe start with exercising more regularly, and then you do that habit for 1 to 2 weeks and it's starting to become like a routine, and then you add a new habit on top of that. Because if you've never done these things before and what you expect from yourself is to immediately be able to do all of them, it's not very realistic and you're just setting yourself up for failure. And that's not really what you want to do, because you do want to have long-lasting results. You do want to get to the end of the year and feel like you actually did what you wanted to. And even though it might take a little bit longer doing it like this, it's going to be a lot more beneficial to you if you actually continue doing it instead of doing it for 2 weeks but doing all of them at the same time and then just stopping. The last thing is not really something you have to do, but it's something I love to do. So it's doing vision boards for the new year. This year I'm actually going to be meeting up with a friend and we're gonna do vision boards together. I've never done that before, but I saw like a reel on Instagram where friends made vision boards together and I was so excited. It looked so fun. So we're gonna do that, but right now I have exams and papers to write, so I'm gonna postpone that to like maybe mid-January. But I'm for sure going to be filming a video about it, and I've already been pinning a few things on my Pinterest board and just kind of starting to figure out what I actually want to put on that vision board. But I love doing them. They just always make me feel so good, and doing it with a friend, I think it's just such a fun activity that I've never tried before, so I'm excited. But basically we've come to the end of this video. I really hope that it helped you in some way, that you can prepare for your 2024 with a bit more lightness and security, and I hope that I see you in my next video. Bye!